I am choosing out of the infinite potentials and possibilities. This is the reality that I am choosing, and I'm not allowing myself to waver in any other possible potential realities. Hey guys, welcome back to another video. In case you're new here, my name is Kim. This is Core Union. I have no idea why this has been so prevalent in my mind. Something's been telling me to talk about this. Apparently, there are at least one, if not a handful of you guys out there that literally are manifesting this, and this is what you needed to hear. So I think the best way to start this story, I thought about where should I actually even start this story? So I'm going to go way, way, way back. This had to be somewhere around, I was probably about 27 years old. So I'm 53 as of the day that I am filming this. So do the math. I was going to take my first flight ever with somebody. I was nervous about the flight. It's like I was excited about it, but I was always also a little bit nervous. So I kept just daydreaming because this is how I manifested very naturally and organically when I was first learning how to manifest consciously and deliberately. So I kept just daydreaming and imagining what it would be like to be flying first class. When I was younger, this is how I noticed that when I would do something like this, then the things would end up happening. I didn't have a word for it. I didn't know what it was, and I wasn't always conscious of it either. So I didn't know that when negative things happened, I could just shift my thinking. I hadn't slept much. Fast forward to the morning of the flight. So me and the person that I'm taking the trip with go to the airport. I'm half asleep. Like I am so incredibly tired. So I'm walking there, I'm pushing or pulling my luggage. I have a coffee in my hand. And all I know is like everything is kind of like fuzzy. And I'm not really paying attention to anything. I suddenly become aware, like I'm just like out in, La La Land looking at stuff. Suddenly I become aware that the woman who we need to check in, like, give our tickets to and stuff and check in the baggage, she's kind of yelling at me slightly, just kind of being rude. So I become aware of it and I'm like, oh, okay. So I walk up to her and all of a sudden now the person that I'm with is on the edge of telling her off for being rude. So I'm like, for me, I'm just like, what's kind of going on here? Like, I'm just like chill. And the person I'm with is basically saying something like, you owe us both an apology, especially her. So apparently, this woman must have said something relatively rude, negative to me, which I didn't even hear. So I wasn't affected by it. And I'm happy that I wasn't. And all I know is the next thing is she's there, Miss so and so, would you guys like to fly first class today on us? And I was like, sure. Okay, cool. And so I'm like all happy. And, I end up flying first class, which was exactly what I had been just daydreaming about with no resistance at all and no worrying about how it was going to happen. So the bridge kind of was just simply me being kind of half asleep and not paying attention. And then this person being rude to me. And then the person I'm with being very kind of, protective and defending me. So those were the bridges. And then obviously it had to manifest very quickly because it was literally within, if I'm thinking about and imagining this, especially a lot the night before, trying to make myself feel better for flying. So that was just a matter of hours. So that had to happen very quickly. Okay. So now, the reason why I brought that up is because this kind of relates to, because that became part of my self-concept of like kind of always, kind of things always working out and things kind of being very simple and easy. Not that everything in my life has always been just a walk in the park or a piece of cake, but it did kind of start some programming within me of how things can always work out very easily and quickly. That became part of my self-concept. So now we fast forward years later. Now I'm going to take a trip with somebody and we're going to be visiting, like along the trip, we're going to be hanging out with their family. We buy the tickets and everything. While I'm buying the tickets, I'm not thinking of first class because the flight itself was, I think, probably only like I don't know, maybe a 3 hour flight, if that. But what I did was I just kept imagining just getting like VIP treatment. And like I kind of put myself in that place of just being treated like with VIP treatment and stuff like that, just because why not? It's just fun, right? And I already have that experience now, along with other experiences over the years, but when it came specifically to a flight. So now we put that aside and we're about 2 weeks away from the trip, I believe. The person that I'm going on the trip with starts freaking out because their family isn't they're not, at least from what they were saying, they're not very accepting. And they thought that they were going to be very judgmental with me. So they were nervous and just kind of scared that it was going to be a very hard trip on me and that I wasn't going to have a good time and all of this stuff. So I took that information in to realize that they were reflecting my own fears of not being accepted. You guys, as you guys know, I had an experience growing up where I was pushed away and shunned and rejected based on religion. Now, I take that information and we have a couple weeks left to the trip. I start to visualize immediately that the family, I start to imagine a lot of laughter. I start to imagine, and I don't know what the family looks like. I haven't seen a picture of the mother or the father or the brothers or anyone, but I literally just start imagining having these conversations, laughing, having a good time. I imagine being hugged. I just imagine a lot of warmth, a lot of laughter, a lot of food, playing games, and having such a good time. So I keep doing that literally morning, noon, and night for those couple of weeks. And I saturate myself in it and I immerse myself in it. Not like oh, no, 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 I need to make this work. I don't know if this is going to work. Is this going to work? Just for the pleasure of it. I'm enjoying it because I trust and I know that when I do this, I have to experience that because I am choosing out of the infinite potentials and possibilities. This is the reality that I am choosing, and I'm not allowing myself to waver in any other possible potential realities. That simple. So now this is where there'll be a couple other manifestations now. While we were looking at needing to rent a car, I really wanted to rent a black. So at this point, I had manifested my Range Rover Evoque, but I loved, for some reason at that time in my life, I loved black Jeep Wranglers, but the ones with the long body. So they have 4 doors, like all black wheels and things like that. I just thought it was super cool. I have no idea why. So now I'm obsessing about the idea of that's the car that we're driving in when we get there. So when I'm on the phone with the rental people, I ask them, like, I'm not worried about it, but I just ask them, do you have any black, Jeep Wranglers available? Blah, blah, blah. No, I'm really sorry. Unfortunately, we don't. You're going to be in, and they named whatever car. I was like, that's okay. I kept visualizing us being in the black Jeep Wrangler. It was that simple. So I did kind of the same thing now. Now, fast forward to now where this is so great. We're at the airport now. And because I have that programming in me from the experience that I had manifested when I was younger, getting put in first class, and then like, I always get VIP treatment, blah, 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 blah. We get to the airport. Now, mind you, now I'm putting that belief into practice. I'm imagining the black Jeep Wrangler when we get there, and I'm imagining having a good time with the family. So now we get to the airport. The airport is different than it was when I previously flew because of all the things that have happened globally and stuff like that. So security was, as you guys understand, it was crazy. There were lines everywhere, and we were standing in line to where we, give our tickets and check in our baggage. and only standing there for probably about 5 minutes. And a woman approaches me. She opens up the rope, and she motions to me, come this way, please. And the person that I'm with, because it was like quite literally out of nowhere, the person that I'm with puts her hand in front of me and says to the person, where are you taking her? What are you doing? Because it was kind of unusual. And, it made the person I'm with kind of nervous, and they were just being protective. So, no, what are you doing? Where are you taking her? And so for some reason, I kind of felt what was happening, even though I didn't exactly know, but I just looked at the woman and I said, can she come? I didn't know what was happening, but something in me said this was okay. And I said, can she come? And she looked at me, she looked at the person I was with, and she said, come on. So she just put us both through the rope, closed it off, and literally walked us around. I don't know how many hundreds and hundreds of people, put us right in front. She took our tickets. She put us right there at the very beginning of the line, right before you check in your baggage now and where you walk through the metal detectors and stuff, where you're scanned, like just going through the security protocols, basically. So then we got right in. So it was just a matter of seeing everybody was there. It was mobbed. Who knows? I don't know how long it would have taken for us to actually go through all of the lines. And so it was probably a total of 10 or 15 minutes, and that's it. And so then we were waiting by the gate, and then we got on and we took our flight. Now we take the flight, we land to where we're going. When I'm checking in with the rental car company, I didn't ask them anymore. They bring me out. They put us in a black Jeep Wrangler, exactly what we wanted. So we're just cracking up. We're laughing. We get in and we, turn the music up, and then we're just like driving. Now we're going to be driving to the place that we're staying before the next day, where I'm going to be going to meet the family and hang out with them a little bit. So far, everything is working out perfectly. And it's because I keep choosing, every time I get feedback from my reality through my own thoughts or through anyone else telling me things, I am choosing the reality that I am going to be in, and that I'm not choosing anything else. It's like you're in a hallway. I've talked about this before. It's like you're in a hallway, and what you want, your ideal, is straight ahead. And there are all these other rooms here that are other possibilities. When you allow yourself to be fearful or to not trust in something or someone or that version of you who gets to have the experiences that you want. I don't know if you can hear Felix barking right now. That's like you walking down the hall, and instead of walking towards the ideal, you start opening these doors, and then you walk in, and now you're going to be in that reality because you chose that reality. So it's just have blinders on and stop messing with the middle, and stop messing with the 3D. Stop questioning yourself. Stop questioning the process. Stay cool, calm, collected, grounded, and stable in your decision, and live your life and be happy, knowing that everything that needs to happen is already happening. Like, while you're living your life and being happy, you're literally on a bridge that oftentimes when you're on a bridge, you don't see anything, especially when it comes to things related to relationships. But it would apply to literally anything that you are manifesting. So now we drive to the family's house, and I'm excited. I'm almost gleeful because I know that they're going to love me and accept me, because I was so deep in my trust, knowing that when I imagine this, as I'm experiencing my imagination, I don't see that as being fake at all. I don't see that as being, oh, it's just my imagination. It would be awesome if this happened. To me, when I go deep into that, of like the highest and best experience for myself and for others in my reality, that's a real experience. And I know that when I feel that and I trust in that and I don't waver, then I have to experience that in my 3D. So we get there, we get out of the car. I have a huge smile on my face. I see the mother. She has a huge smile on her face. She opens the door, and I don't remember exact words that she said, but it was something along the lines of like something, oh, Kim, it's so wonderful to meet you. Look at you. You're so beautiful. Look at you. She gave me the biggest, warmest hug. And it's like she didn't even let me go. And then we talked and we laughed, and then we were planning on I decided that I wanted to cook because I have a lot of I like to be really healthy. I don't like to eat out at restaurants. I have a lot of things that I don't like to eat, and I just wanted to kind of entertain, and I wanted to cook for them. So we would just for a few days I was there teaching the mother recipes. She was there in the kitchen cooking with me. And then we would all sit down and we would, have these yummy meals, and then we would laugh and play games. And it was a great time. There was nothing at all to be worried about. The reason why I wanted to bring this up is because sometimes you guys are telling stories where you're, if you're in a relationship, for example, your person isn't or excuse me, your person's family or friends aren't accepting of your relationship. So this applies to that. You want to really feel deeply into the best versions of people and see that everybody, like if you have a rejection story, then obviously you're going to have to address that. I did have a rejection story, but I had already addressed the rejection story before I even met the person who I was going on the trip with. So now I just had to be specific and see a beautiful, wonderful time filled with laughter and joy and just having a good time. Like, why would that be so far fetched? But if I was deep into my fear that I'm never accepted, I'm not loved, I'm not lovable, then I probably would have spiraled a lot while I was doing that inner work of having the inner conversations of having a good time. Does that I know that that makes sense. This applies to literally everything that you're manifesting in your life. If you want to be famous, if you want to have a promotion and you want to become a director, or you want to make more money, or you want your business to blow up, you want your music to sell, you want your artwork to sell, you want bestsellers of books that you've written, you want to imagine when people see me, when people hear me, when people read my book, when people see my book, when people see my art, when they listen to my music, when they watch my videos, when they see me walking towards them, when I'm in an interview, they feel, they feel the energy that I'm putting into myself and putting into whatever it is that I'm creating. They feel this, and that makes me and that makes whatever it is that I'm putting out there in the world irresistible. So it's the energy that you have in yourself, how you see yourself, how you see others, how you see your others being affected by you and by whatever it is that you're putting out in the world. When people see you, when they watch your videos, when they listen to your music, when they read your book, when they look at your artwork, when they listen to your music, all of the inspiration and the energy and the excitement that you put into it, you feel and you know that when you put into this, whatever it feels like to you, the excitement that it feels like to you, because it's coming from something greater than you and you're just the channel, you're just that beautiful, perfect, magnificent point of consciousness that God is creating through. It's not up to you to make it happen, but it is going to be over the top successful when you just allow yourself to open up to it and allow yourself to let it work through you. So whatever it is that you're feeling when you're listening to yourself, watching yourself, how you feel about yourself, when you infuse yourself and anything else that you're putting out into the world, and you see that people are literally obsessed with it. When people see it, when people hear it, when people see me, when they hear me, when they listen to my music, it touches their soul. It literally touches their soul, and it makes me and my work, whatever it is, irresistible. Top sellers, bestsellers, Grammy Award winner, you name it, whatever it is. So Comment down below with a heart and prayer hands. And if you need me, reach out. I will talk to you soon. I love you. Bye.
Nothing can come, nothing can come, nothing can come between us.